Hey everyone, it's Mark. I've been thinking this morning about the concept of due diligence, and I want to talk to you about this, not in the normal context. So let me explain what I'm talking about. Normally, when you hear the term due diligence, what it means to business people is the investigation, the checking things out that occurs after a deal is entered into. Not entered into in a binding way. It could be the due diligence after a letter of intent. It could be due diligence during a due diligence period, a time period that is provided for under an agreement. But what it basically involves is an investigation, a checking of facts, to make sure that the representations by the other side of the deal are indeed true, that the facts underlying the transaction, underlying the deal are indeed true. But there's another way of thinking about due diligence, and that is a process which should take place, an investigation type process that should take place before you even think of doing a deal with someone or with some entity. In other words, what do you really know about them? What do you know about the other kinds of deals they've done? What do you know about the executives of the other entity? The reason for this is multifold. Certainly, it's to get some feeling for who it is you're dealing with. Number two, it's getting some understanding of whether these are the kind of people you want to deal with at all. And number three, it's gaining some leverage to use. In other words, some information that you can use to your own benefit about their positions, their other business issues, their other personal issues that might be played in terms of the way you're going to negotiate your deal. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're using these to blackmail or extort. What I'm suggesting is that knowing, for example, that a company is being sued by a bank for an unpaid note, on an unpaid note, is important information if that same company is attempting to sell something to you. It may drastically affect the price that they're willing to take. So that sort of information, in order to shape your deal, that sort of information in knowing whether you want to deal at all, that sort of information knowing whether these are the kind of people you want to get in bed with on a deal, all extremely important. These are things that really shouldn't wait until after you've entered into a letter of intent. You should be thinking about this up front in terms of whether you want to do a deal with them at all. Now, of course, this holds true whether we're talking about an employment contract and the prospective employer. It also holds true in connection with a much, much larger deal. So, obviously, the extent that you're willing to enter into these sort of pre-deal due diligence efforts, is contingent upon how big a deal we're talking about. You're certainly not going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to check out the other side in connection with a deal that's only worth, $100,000 to you. But in a deal that's going to generate millions over the ensuing years, it's certainly worth it not to be penny wise and pound foolish in doing that process up front.